And welcome to the Hooping from Pallettown to the Grand Line podcast, episode 3. Here with Anthony Romeo, Andrew Tyrell, and Dan Konings. Dan had a great idea, and with the NBA season wrapping up, we decided to do a NBA All-Team. And the normal NBA All-Team, first team, second team, third team, you have 5 players, 5 people play on the court at the NBA at one time. However, in Pokemon, you have a team of 6. So we each took a crack at our NBA or our Pokemon All Team Awards. Dan, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I think, wait, are we streaming right now?
Yep, I should be on Twitch.
Yeah.
All right, yep, there it is. All right, got you. All right, well, it's one of those things that obviously, how many Pokemon are there now? 1,000? Over 1,000?
1,025 based on my research.
1,025, right? I mean, just like the NBA, I know it's a big shocker. There's a lot of good Pokemon. There's a lot of good Pokemon, and some are going to be left off this list. And, I'm sure there's going to be some overlap between us 3. But, I think in my completely subjective way, I think these are my favorites. And I think they, hold up against a lot of them, So, obviously, I'm going to start with my third team and go up. So we'll start at the bottom of the graph. Yeah, we're gonna start at the bottom of the graphic. Let's work our way up.
You're actually not.
I animated it the wrong way.
Okay, then we'll start fourth. Then we'll start with the fourth one. Yeah, let's go.
I did the same thing, Rooms. I was on the same page.
All right, then we're going with no. Let's go first team. Then.
I've got your leadoff one showing.
Okay, leadoff one showing. All right, so basically my leadoff hitter is in my mind, the GOAT. I mean, it's Blastoise, man.
He's got his own theme song, dude.
I mean, he's big man Blastoise. I think he's the best starter. Just a caveat with this, my list is I only used one starter per team. I think there's so many really cool starters that like half my favorite Pokemon,
I followed your lead. I only have one starter per team.
Our starters. So don't give me shit that you don't see your Charizard on this list. I mean, obviously the viewers are gonna view, but
I'll give you shit, but that's just me.
Yeah, hey, it's all right. But I just think he would be my starter if Pokemon were a real life. I mean, it's Blastoise. It's all day. It's big man Blastoise. He's my GOAT. And I just, I think Kanto is the best starters. He's just my GOAT. Leading Sekov is Gengar. I think he's just one of those guys that, other than a starter, he's probably my favorite Pokemon, non-starter. I know it might make me basic. The more I read up on online, people love him, and I think people love him for a reason. That's why he's on the first team. I mean, it'd be like, hey, Steph Curry's my favorite player. Oh yeah, no shit, man. I mean, he does everything in game, anime, even in the books. I mean, he just is such a monster. Special attacker, I mean, you can go, Hypnosis Dream Eater set, or you just go, full on attack. He can do so much. And he's in the third spot right there. And we started the first gen, and I think the modern game, just like the NBA, is growing. And I think we have a lot of great modern players. And one of the modern players that's really stood out to me, and he's jumped all the way to the first team faster than anyone, is Hydrapple. Dude is a fucking monster. A dragon grass, really cool typing. Shiny, he's a golden apple. I mean, that's so cool. And he's got a bunch of other dragon heads in there. He scoots around. He's gooey. 2 signature moves in the game, which I don't know if there's another Pokemon with 2 signature moves. Fickle Beam and Syrup Bomb. Yeah, Syrup Bomb and Fickle Beam. Really cool moves. Fickle Beam, where it just basically on I mean, it's 100 base power, I'm pretty sure, but then there's a small chance that it he goes all out and goes 150, and I love that. And just to have the evolution of you have the dragon head and then you have the original apple on one of his horns, and I just think it's such a cool progression. It's such a cool line. Starting with Applin, and you have just so many different forms, and I just think this is the best form.
See, I feel like it's cool hearing your list because obviously you started with 2 Gen 1 guys, but I'm personally not having any new gen, really, not too many new gen guys, because I'm an old head and Michael Jordan's the GOAT. But Hydrapple is fucking sick, dude. I feel like you showed me your file, and it's just like you were all about getting the shiny Hydrapple.
Yeah, I think the golden apple, it might be one of my favorite shinies, just like in general. I think it looks so cool. He's a golden apple, grass dragon, really strong competitively. Hydrapple's there. And I started with 2 Gen 1s. I'm gonna keep on with the new gen. Ursaluna, man. Both forms,
Woohoo!
blood moon form and the normal form, Hisuian Ursaluna, so fucking cool. Ursaring was such a cool Pokemon in my eyes. And they just gave him another evolution. If you could have told me that was his mega evolution, I'd fucking believe you. And especially with the Blood Moon, probably my favorite DLC Pokemon they've ever dropped.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. He's so cool. Like the whole mission to get him is really fucking sick. Ursaluna, he's just a monster.
I
Um,
feel like Ursaluna's a win for the new heads and a win for the old heads because it's like, yeah, it's pretty new, just released recently, but like Teddy Ursa and Ursa Ring are like classics, you know?
Oh, dude. One of my biggest problems with Gen 2 is you can't get a Teddy Ursa to like the last gym where a Teddy Ursa, like if you just had an Ursa ring like throughout your playing through, would be so cool. But yeah, so there it is. I have 2 Gen 1s and then 2 Gen 9s, and now my favorite pseudo legendary, which I feel like every first team, I mean, the pseudos are sick. Garchomp, I mean, Desert
Nice.
Shark Dragon, I mean, fucking sick. One of the coolest Mega Evolutions as well. Totally forgot. Mega Blastoise and Mega Gengar both also have cool VMAX forms as well. Just throwing that out. Garchomp, really cool Mega. Obviously has the firepower in the anime with being Cynthia's Garchomp and just having an aura. Garchomp just has aura. So
I
he's
got Aura.
there. And then to round out my first team is Snorlax, man. I mean, talk about like the original OG like in-game Pokemon, it's Snorlax. I mean, you have to get through it. I mean, the guy's just blocking roads, just being a monster, man. And he's really cool in the anime, cool in the book. Like he's just a really cool Pokemon, and I think he's one of my favorites. And so I mean, 3 Gen 1s, 2 Gen 9s, and 1 Gen 4 to round up my first team. But I really like that. I know I probably rambled, so I'm trying to go through this quickly.
That's a good. It's a good
Uh,
list.
No, that's a first team. You got to explain the first teams.
yeah,
That's
you know,
solid.
it's just there. And I think, I have a little good mix of old heads and new heads in that first team. And it's really balanced and, just cool typings. They're sick. All right. Then going on to my second team, my second team starter is Infernape, Gen 4, just so fucking cool. Doesn't have a Mega, doesn't have a VMAX, doesn't really have any support, really. I feel like everyone, like, I don't know why. I think Gen 4 starters deserve better. Um, you'll see I have another one here. I just think Gen 4, other than Gen 1, has the best starters.
I feel
And
like
Infernape is
Chimchar
leading.
too.
Yeah,
That like
yeah, and
donkey video, the Chimchar.
yeah, dude. For my money, Chimchar, and
Not money though.
so for my money, for my money, he's the leader of my second team, and he's rounding it out because he's just so cool in game. He's strong, awesome. Also, Elite Four Ace Pokemon. And then we're gonna get into some Gen 2s because Gen 2 is so good, and I think some of these Pokemon were really part of that. Started with Heracross. I mean, well, like seriously, it just Heracross, the headbutt mechanic. You were just kind of headbutting around, and I still remember like being a really young kid and just headbutting around and just seeing this really cool beetle. I'm like, this guy's fucking sick. And then he's just super strong too. In the anime, I think he's one of my favorite like Ash Pokemon.
He's the
And he's
best
just
anime. That was
yeah,
what I was
dude.
going to
He
talk
just
about, dude.
all he,
He's
yeah, all he
so
wants.
cool.
Yeah, keep going.
I was rewatching the Johto series, like the Gold and Silver series, and it's like there's the Heracross Pinsir episode where it's like they're trying to the Pinsir. There's a big battle between the Pinsir and the Heracross, and the Pinsir bully the Heracross out of the area. So it's like they got to try and like kick the Pinsir out, and it's like it's so good. Heracross is so good in the anime.
Yeah, and I just think Strong Eye Mega Horn. Literally, people forget that was Heracross's signature move. No, everyone really has Mega Horn, but that was because of Heracross. Then
Also one of those
my
cool
another
like gender differences, like one of the earlier Pokemon to have like specific differences for male female, like the horn?
Oh, hey, I'm all, one of those Pokemon I definitely probably used Headbutt a little bit more if I got a female Heracross, because I think the male Heracross looks a little cooler. But other than that, I mean, Heracross is just sick. And falling into the next one, he's Gen 2, pseudo legendary Tyranitar, man. I mean, just literally a rock Godzilla. Super cool. I think his Pokemon Pokedex entry is like the guy literally reshapes the map. He just like eats mountains for dinner. Like, so fucking cool. He's always been portrayed as like an evil Pokemon, which might be fair depending on obviously if this guy's just reshaping maps, but just he's right there. So cool, great design. Just a Gen 2 pseudo, fucking awesome. Then obviously a really cool Mega Evolution as well. I think they really did a cool job with the Mega. And then we go on to another Gen 2 second team Gen 2. I don't know what it is. It just vibes. Scizor, man. Just probably one of the coolest Pokemon. Like, he's just so cool. Like, in the anime, he was really cool. In the game, like, obviously you had to trade him. It was like one of those like, God, I really need a friend, because Scizor is so cool. And then you have to evolve him from Scyther. You catch him in the bug contest, like the whole 9 yards. Really cool Mega Evolution, super strong competitively. I mean, Sword Stance, Bullet Punch. I mean, goddamn, like that's a fucking problem.
It's also just like sick because Gen 2 like coming out with the Steel type, and like when you get the metal code and you're like, what do I do with this, dude? And it's like, what do I do with this? And it's like the two pokes you can use it on, Steelix and fucking Scizor. Like, both of them are so cool, but I just feel like Scizor is just elite.
Very elite, and that's why he's second team. He's just so cool. And to transition from one, pincer Pokemon to another, we go back to Gen 1 here, and it's Kingler.
All-timer.
I just think, he is so fucking cool. Catching a Krabby, evolving him up, that big-ass fucking hammer, another signature move Pokemon, Crab Hammer. Might be the all-time most clutch Pokemon in the Pokemon anime history, other than this, like, the new one. Just him coming back and, like, 3-0ing in the Pokemon League. Just fucking cool. Cool design. Really cool VMAX form where he kind of gets like really long legs and foam. Kind of wish he had a Mega Evolution. Really cool shiny. Kingler's, I mean, he's got to be there. And then we go again. Like I said, the modern players are moderating, and I see have Toxicity, Poison, Electric. Before this Pokemon, I don't think that typing ever existed. Two different forms. I think this is the low key form, and then there's the Ant form. The Ant form where he's got a yellow mohawk. Here he's got the two blue. It's just so cool. He strums the little things on his chest to make sounds. He's got a signature move. Just a real and sick VMAX form. Toxicity, which was one of those Pokemon I remember when we did our first was one of our drafts, and I picked the little like I picked them, and it was so cool because they give it to you in the in Sword and Shield. They give you the Toxel, and it just looks like a little baby version with a diaper, and then he turns out to be a monster, and was, if not one of the most valuable players in my first run through that game. So I think he's up there in modern, really cool typing. He's deserving of that second team. And that's my second team, and then I'll run through my third team really quickly. I mean, I started here, or I wanted to start here, but we end here. My third starter is another Gen 4 guy, Torterra. Fucking sick. That's nice. Bonsai tree, just a turtle. Super cool. Again, Gen 4 just staying up there. And if I had another one, it probably like to me he was super. What?
Get him Empoleon in there.
Yeah, I do. Hey, obviously Gen 4 was really formative for me because I feel like Gen 4 was like one of the first Pokemon games that I was kind of going for. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was younger, I really, was just doing it. But Gen 4, I felt like I was kind of more in control of my playthrough and what I wanted to do. And so I remember the first time I went through was Infernape, and then the second time was Torterra, and I just like, wow, this game is so cool. And Torterra's there. I mean, ground grass.
Very
In
cool.
the anime is cool. But yeah, so he's my third team starter, and then again, some modern players and the new gen. I love the new gen. But again, these guys built on other great Pokemons and other gems. Annihilate, I think one of the coolest evolutions you can add to a Pokemon, because Primeape was so cool on his own and probably like, yeah, just really really cool. One of my favorite Pokemon, and then just to have him like evolve and have like the idea of evolve where Primeape gets so angry it literally dies and then comes back to life because it's so angry and still wants to fight. I, God, dude, death can't even stop this fucker, and I think it's so cool. Signature move, Rage Fist, where it's like the lower he is, the stronger the attack is. A physical ghost. I mean, physical ghost fighting is such a cool typing as well. I think Marshadow was the first one, but this guy kind of took the typing to a next level. Annihilate's fucking cool, and again, building off the old gens and making them better. Just like some of the NBA players, we see a lot of NBA players take the template of old players, but improve it, and I think Annihilate just improves on it. And another cool Pokemon I think that improved on it was King's Gambit here. So fucking cool. He kind of floats around. He sits there. He's just like the main shogun of this fucking clan of Bisharp, and I just think it's so cool. Cool design. Again, evolving a Pokemon that was cool. Bisharp was really awesome, but it would be more awesome if we just evolved him again and made him a Shogun. Like, he's got a sword mustache. Enough said. If you have a
Yeah.
mustache that's made out of swords, I don't know if you can get cooler than that.
Pretty elite.
Yeah, pretty elite. And then from steel type to steel type, we go to my third team pseudo is Metagross. Apparently this guy's got a brain of a supercomputer, but then he's like built like a fucking truck. Meteor Mash at the time was so cool. Steven like really did him well. I think it's one of the cooler Pokemon. Psychic Steel, such a cool typing. Bronzor was there, but I mean, Gen 3, he was a fucking problem. He might be my only Gen 3 Pokemon I have here, which is, underestimated because Gen 3 was great. Yeah, Gen 3 was great and probably should have more representation here, but the modern players just kind of took it over. So yeah, Metagross is there. And then we go to a cool Pokemon, kind of like, I think all three of my teams kind of have a very distinct vibe onto him. A lot of like competitive, very like tough looking guys, and you just have Politoed. I just think he would be so cool. Just if you just had a Politoed falling around, where he just like Politoed. I think the anime really made him look cool. Evolving with the King's Rock, where you just put a King's Rock on on a Poliwhirl, which mind you, one of my first Halloweens ever was a Poliwhirl costume. So I really loved that line. And then Gen 2, they just gave him a really cool, like different look. And in game, he's a monster. Bounce again, another signature move Pokemon, with some personality. He's kind of a misfit here, but he deserves to be here because Politoed's a fucking monster. I remember one of my first Pokemon cards when I started really collecting a little bit was one of these Politoeds I got from my neighbor, and it just was super cool. And then to round him off, we got Electivire, and he kind of fits that mold of what the new gen was doing in Gen 9, but they did it back in Gen 4 of just taking Electabuzz and making him even cooler. Electivire is a fucking monster. I guess he's kind of a primate looking thing, but just big arms, cool, cool tail. In the anime, he's fucking awesome. Like, he's always like one of the ace Pokemon of like some big rival. But he's a fucking monster, and he's always gonna be cool to me. And yeah, and that's my first, second, and third team. And I think I'll take these 15 or these whatever it is 18 Pokemon over anyone else's. But I've done enough talking, so we'll get the other boys going here.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean, I
see,
think you
see
have a
about
great
that.
list and like really good representation across the gens.
I don't have Gen 5, 6, or 7. I think I have every other gen but them. I don't know if that's a representation because I think 5, 6, 7, as I'm learning with Black and White 2, are really good games. I think one of my things is I don't know if like they had a lot of great representation with some of the Pokemon, or at least the Pokemon that did, they just can't crack.
I got a
This-
couple I'll share with you, but I didn't go to. I don't think I have any Gen 7s. So
Well, all right, who's next? Who's next here?
All right, well, I had first team. I mean, the GOAT. Everyone knew it was coming. Charizard. From the cards, just collecting that iconic first gen Charizard Pokemon card, to Gen 1, just picking Charmander, to any remake picking Charmander, to, all right, we're going to do Megas, and Mewtwo's awesome. We're going to give him 2 Megas, and like, who else should we give 2 Megas? The GOAT, Charizard. I also stayed with you on only keeping 1 pseudo in each team, and I told Tyrell a little bit early, but I am certainly early gen heavy, and I did my best to try to pepper in some later gens when I could, but I was moving a bunch of pseudo legendaries around, and Dragonite just stood the test of time for me. He's the first dragon through the first 2 gens, and if you want to have a dragon type, you got to have him if early on. Not until like Salamence rolls around does he really even have another type. So just so iconic, super quick, just unbelievable.
valid. I respect those first 2. You have the 2 most dragon type looking motherfuckers in the decks for the first 2 games.
Up next,
Romeo Anthony Lance Romeo.
I forgot that was his middle name, dude.
Yeah.
The Lord Helix Omnistar.
Oh,
God,
what a pull, dude.
I don't know where you guys were, but for me, I was in some very challenging computer science courses that I had upperclassmen helping me out, and like we were paired off in partners, and we would just go through these grueling homework assignments, and like when you're doing computer science homework, you know it's wrong. You run the code and it doesn't work, and you're like, well, I could turn this in, but it's wrong, or I can figure it out. And it's like you're doing a math problem, and you show all your work, and it doesn't work, and you just call it quits, you know? There's really no calling it quits for partial credit in computer science. And we had Twitch Plays Pokemon on the second monitor, and it kept us sane. And when they got the Helix fossil, and the cult following around it, and the animations that people would do, and the art that people would create, it was just too iconic for me. You can see.
It's a beautiful time.
Gen 1
about
fan.
Bird Jesus.
One of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 2, and one that I feel like you could get reasonably in pretty much every run with a little bit of effort, Ampharos. Like, so glad they gave this guy a Mega later down the road, and of all the electric types in the first 2 gens, like, yeah, you've got the Voltorb, you got Raichu, you got Electabuzz is probably the most iconic, but it always felt like none of those really quite hit me the same as the Ampharos did.
That's valid.
I mean,
also, like
Jasmine. The fact that you had to go give it medicine in Gen 2, you know, like the Steel type even the Steel type leader was like, Ampharos is so cool. I wish I was
really
not a Steel type. It did
have a story role, like more so than most Pokemon.
Dude, you had to like go face it. You basically made you have to go face another gym before you got to face that gym, and you're like, oh, she definitely has an Ampharos. Nope, it's just a Lighthouse Pokemon.
So
like
I was just gonna say, was I the only one to getting gaslit into thinking she had an Ampharos?
You would think like that'd be kind of really cool, especially because I mean we redid our Gen 2 leaders the other day, and like we all understood like we didn't do the Steel gym, but we all were like, yeah, this
dude, you know what?
She had Ampharos.
You know what? We should have just redone Jasmine as an electric gym leader.
Ooh.
That's what we should have done. Like, she already has a Magneton. Like, give her the Ampharos. I mean, I don't know what else you could really give her, but
but yeah, super cool, dude.
Sick. So first repeat that we're seeing, Annihilate. Like, I mean, he is so cool.
Yes, sir.
I grinded him out in Pokemon Go. You have to use a Primeape and win 50 battles against, I think it might even be like ghost types, so you have to like get some weird moves. But anyhow, it totally worth the grind and just a sick Pokemon. I know when Quinn and I were playing Pokemon Go, we'd like Harambe was a relevant topic, and we'd name all the Primeapes Harambe. Like, how could you not? just to see him get some love. And this might, I don't know, is this Gen 8? Gen
That's the newest
9?
Gen 9. Yeah,
Gen 9? So it might be Gen 9, but it feels like a Gen 1er in spirit, you know?
Oh
And
yeah.
then
I totally agree.
closing off with another repeat, I mean, Heracross is just so iconic and like probably my favorite bug type. And you gotta go and grind out the headbutt, and that kind of sticks with you, like going through and just come on,
Finding the
come
right
on,
tree,
not
dude.
another Pineco.
Which, hey, Fortress isn't all in mind, but when you're trying for a Heracross, but
Yeah,
He
hey,
just
I
Heracross, and
love this first team, bro. I
he's
fuck
not
with
in
it
the
heavy.
bug contest.
and it is a lot of Gen 1 and Gen 2 representation for sure. But I mean, what can I say? I'm an old head.
We're old
All
heads,
right.
dude.
Hey, dude, you got a Gen 9 in there. And
So
not to spoil the rest of your list, I think you got a good spread here.
not necessarily the one I'd pick on a ton of playthroughs, but always iconic. And so I'll admit I'll go on YouTube to get hyped up and watch some anime fights, and some of it's One Piece, some of it's other stuff. But I'll watch some Pokemon fights now and then, and like Charizard Blastoise is just a tale as old as time, like a classic. And at this
Red and
point,
blue, dude. Red and blue.
they know that it's such an iconic one, so they've remastered it, they've souped it up, and I'm here for the fan service. Just any Blastoise, Charizard fights I can get, give it to me. Iconic design, love them. We got Metagross too, and I'm trying to keep with you on only one pseudo legendary per. And
Yeah.
I think the Mega with Mega Metagross and a lot of the story with like Steven,
Yep.
and I think it's like Pokemon Masters and kind of getting some of those animation. It won its spot over a fierce competition with another pseudo legendary that is iconic. But I also remember in Pokemon Go, one of the first community days that I was part of was the Beldum Community Day, and definitely
Mhm.
grinded out a shiny Metagross in a Home Depot
One of the
parking
best
lot.
shinies ever, dude. One of the best shinies ever.
It's so good.
The
So
silver
good.
gold.
Um, Up next, and this might be a shocker, another Gen 1, but Pidgeot. And why Pidgeot? So, a little theme for mine, kind of peeling back the curtains. I've got starter in the first slot of my whatever team I'm on. I've got the
Mhm.
pseudo legendary in the second spot, and then I've got an iconic Twitch plays Pokemon moment in the third spot. And again, I distinctly remember watching almost all of Twitch plays Pokemon. And if you want a majority of days summed up, it was Bird Jesus absolutely obliterating low level plebs. Like we're talking a level 79 Pidgey that is just rolling level 12 Geodudes in Mount Moon with no remorse. And it's it seems like it's unstoppable, and how could you lose the game? God, when you went into a box and it's like, we can't release him, we can't release him, we can't release him, and everyone else, it would suck, but like, you know what, we could overcome it. Bird Jesus was just too much. I'm like, if I have that much attachment, gotta make the second team not. Also, who didn't have this as their like fly bitch for most of Gen 1, like Gen 2, like just a staple early Pokemon you gotta have.
You're telling me you weren't riding a Pharaoh, dude?
A
You
Pharaoh
look like a
round?
Pharaoh
Oh my
flying.
god.
how about Dodrio, bruh?
Oh my god.
Did totally derailed, but off topic. Did you see the thing Tim or someone posted in our group chat about the Dodrio flying?
Maybe I think it was like a meme, right?
Yeah, It's like a helicopter, and its neck is going around like a propeller. I was dying. I've never seen that. I thought it was hilarious. It was like pretty
checks
well
out.
animated. It was like a
How else would he fly? You're telling me a Scyther can't fly, but I can fly at a fucking Zubat, dude?
right. True. All right, next up, and again, Gen 1 was just all time. Like the two spoons, the naming thematics of Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam, awesome. The fact that there's no spoons, they add a spoon, there's another spoon, they get the mega, there's like 8 spoons. I think that's fantastic. And I mean, I'm trying to think of other even psychic types in Gen 1. Like this was the iconic go-to, right? what else even did Sabrina have?
Slowbro,
Slowbro, true.
Mr.
Mr.
Mime,
Mime.
Hypno.
Classics.
But this is definitely the
None
guy.
of them hit the same as Alakazam, let's
Dude,
be real.
You're
No, I
talking
mean,
Gen 1, dude. Gen 1 Alakazam, because they only had one special stat, and so his
Dominant.
special stat was 135. So his special defense and his special attack were 135.
And I like how you have to kind of earn it. Like, you got to go in, you got to find the Abra, you got to throw the Pokeball, you got to watch it break out, you got to watch it teleport, and you got to say, fuck me, and go at it again.
and then you have to kill about 17 Oddishes and maybe a Psyduck or two, and then you finally find another one.
And the whole thing repeats.
It's
But when
a
you
vicious
get it,
cycle.
it feels good. And then another
Love that.
classic trade one, and again, Gen 1 was so good. Machamp. I mean, when I talk about Pokemon that I wish not necessarily that I had, but like that I could be, I feel like Machamp would be pretty sick. Like having 2 extra arms and just being built and being pretty humanoid, like the dream.
Guy evolves and just gets a championship belt as he evolves. Pretty sick.
Pretty cool. Extra set of arms, just like the multitasking game would be so cool. And like imagine the Hoops mixtape you could make with 4 arms.
Dude, imagine the dunk contest, bro.
Like insane stuff. Insane stuff.
I feel like if in real life, if you had a real life Machamp, it would be one of the most useful Pokemon to have. Like
Around
anything,
house.
legitimately, like, oh shit, I need help putting the air conditioner in the window. Boom, I got the Machamp. Like, won't even matter, you know? Like
that one hits different, brother.
I was just putting up shelves, and it's
you would be nice if he had 4 arms. He holds the shelves up with one, holds the nails with one. You know, like it just
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's there.
And then making an effort to try to show some later gens some love. I threw Tinkton on here, and I remember when we were doing the draft, one of you snakes sniped it the round that I was gonna.
It was me.
I was gonna nab it.
I was the culprit.
It was a great pick. It was a great pick, and
I didn't know it turned into something with a giant fucking hammer. Tinkaton's so cool.
Who knew? I love the design. I think it's super sick, and it's like massive hammer. It's kind of like off the Thor, like the Thor hammer axe. Not Milzier, but Stormbringer, and it's trying to show some later gen in it's fairy type, right? Fairy steel.
Fairy steel, the best. I feel like. Do you know the story behind the hammer? Like, yeah. Do you know the story behind the hammer and everything, and like why?
Lay it on
what's
me.
Its deal? So Tinkaton, as it evolves, right? So like throughout, like when it's, I think it's Tinkatunk or something like that. It's first Evo, and it has like a little thing. So basically, when it's really young, it just scravens around just to find like scrap pieces of metal so it can use it as a hammer, right? And as it gets older and older, like the hammer keeps growing until it evolves to a Tinkaton, where you have the big thing. So if you look around at the hammer, the Pokedex thing is this thing legitimately uses the hammer to hit rocks at Corviknights, which are steel birds around the 8th gen, and basically does it to kill them and steal their steel and wool to put it to their hammers. So like Tinkatons in the wild would like you would find one, like obviously you can't do it in the Pokemon, but like if it was real life and they were falling by the decks, like they would just literally go on hunting streaks for these crows, and like the bigger the hammer it is, the more Corviknights it's killed. It's like literally carrying around a giant trophy to how many things it's killed.
That's crazy, bro.
That is wild.
Like, it's crazy. If you look at the hammer, like the coloring around it, like not the big hammer part, kind of looks like Corviknights, right?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like. So it legitimately just uses the thing to hit rocks and kill birds, just for fun, and then just go. And it's like this small little thing. The hammer's bigger than him, and he just goes around. It's really cool, and it was one of those. It hurt me leaving Tinkatunk off my 3rd team. But I was like, I almost had too many modern Pokemon because it's such a. I love the Tinkatunk.
It's a classic. It made an impression on me for sure. All right, moving on to the 3rd team, keeping the starter. I rattled around a lot of do I throw the Fraligator on here, and I'm like, I think I have too much water representation. I was throwing on like, do I throw the the Trico, I think was the first playthrough I actually did with Gen 3. But God, the
Yeah.
Blaziken, there's just something on the fire types that really just does it for me. Like the fire starters, if
First
I
of
had
many firefighting.
just an alt, yeah, it really set the theme of the
It literally
firefighting
started a
trend,
trend. It started the trend.
and it
I feel
is
like also going from like a
Blaziken walks so
torch,
Infernape can run.
uh,
Or
going
Blaziken
from like
ran so Infernape could run with it.
going from a Torchic though, like the Torchic was cute. You're like, oh my god, this thing's like adorable. And then it goes into the Combusken, and you're like, oh shit, this thing's like kind of humanoid and like whatever. And then it's like, oh, Blaziken. And then they gave him fucking speed boost for the hidden ability. So like Pokemon Showdown, dude, with a Blaziken speed boost was like unstoppable.
true. It
Just,
it is competitively like very. Is it like
oh.
Ubers?
I think it's dropped. It's in and out of Ubers.
It was
It
definitely in
depends
the
on
OU.
like when it got
It was
into
in
Mega
the OU.
Evo. Yeah, Mega Blaziken is so cool. And I mean, are you gonna bring up the anime? I mean, I feel like that's the most iconic thing ever.
Lay it on me. I don't know if I know.
Dude, when they're going through Gen 2 and Ash is in the Pokemon League in the second gen, he loses his Charizard. His Charizard loses to in one of like the semis or something like that to a Blaziken. And this guy
Oh yeah,
throws
yeah,
out a
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he throws out the Blaziken, and you're like, "What the
That's
flying
in
fuck
Gen
is
2.
that?"
Yeah, like the Dawn
Yeah,
fan.
they did. Yeah, they did the Dawn fan thing with Blaziken,
I
like
should have kept
so.
that.
And then the fact that like at this point in the anime, Charizard has what? It's already gone through like he went through the first like Ash finally got Charizard on his side, and then Blaziken just stood ground and beat the fuck out of him, which is crazy because Charizard's a fire flying and Blaziken's a fire fighting.
Yeah.
But I just think that to me that might, if not be one of the most iconic things that happened in the anime. So I
That
still
is
just
one of the.
remember
You're right.
just audibly gasping when I sat there Saturday morning and watched that thing come out of the Pokeball. You're like, that might be like if you told me then that was like wow, that might be like the coolest Pokemon I've ever seen. Like you're saying it it knew Blaze Kick. It was using moves you didn't even fucking heard of.
Yeah. It
You're like,
was.
what? It feet goes on fire? That's cool. Sorry. Don't mean to
No,
talk it. I just think it's
no,
so
dude,
cool.
definitely hop in because you're right. That was one of the most iconic. I didn't know what you were talking about, but as soon as you said it, you're right. Because I'm like, I don't think I really saw Gen 3, but it was the finals of Gen 2.
Yeah. Just the coolest thing.
All
I'm
right,
gonna have
so
to go back and rewatch that.
up next, I've got T-Tar, and God, I love T-Tar. I would always grind out the Larvitar. I don't care how long it took. I'm doing it. You know who I'm using to get all the back half of um the the 8 gyms, the second half of Johto, like when you get to go back
Oh.
to Kanto. We're training up the Larvitar. You already know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so good. I will say I loved T-Tar, and in Pokemon Go, it is like it seems so cool. You throw him in a gym, and just Machamp makes light work of him. The X4 to fighting, especially in Pokemon Go, where it feels like fighting types for some reason are inherently strong. Um, Brutal, absolutely brutal. But moving on, we got another one again. The Nidoking, the Fawns in Pokemon
Hey.
Twitch plays. The it seems like like okay, like pretty easy. You just use a Moonstone on Nidoray. Very challenging when you have a lot of inputs together. And
Oh, yeah.
the upside, you get the Evo. Medium downside, you drop the Moonstone. Other medium downside, you drop some other stuff in your inventory. Bad drops downside, you could just release Pokemon when you go into the inventory. So it was always dicey hit and start. And the fact that they managed to pull off the Moonstone was just absolute. Like, one, getting a Moonstone. Two, clicking the Moonstone in the items. Three, using it on just all time.
The right poke, yeah. And then because you probably had caught a conflict, if the Moonstone Gen 1 was tough because there were so many things that evolved with it, you're like, do I want the Nidoqueen? Do I want the Clefable? Do I want the Wigglytuff? Like, you get like one.
Romeo, was this one of those times where Twitch was like, we are not letting Japan do this for us? Or like, was it like one
Australia.
of those?
It was Australia. They like
Australia?
so I think the Australian group was like fewer in numbers and much more like on the same page and coordinated. They pulled off the Zapdos, and again, I was doing late night coding, so I watched it like on Australian time. They went into the Zapdos, they went to the items, they used a potion, and then they used the Master Ball. And it was like just like we drew it up. And then they went to the box. No, wait. I think before going to Zapdos, they deposited a Pokemon. The thought process being if they catch Zapdos and Zapdos goes to the box, there's a high likelihood that Zapdos gets released. If they go to Zapdos with 5 Pokemon, they might release some Pokemon, but it won't be Zapdos that gets released. And the Australians just like came up with this plan and pulled it off, and it worked. And you wake up the next morning, and it's like, boom, we have a Zapdos.
Incredible.
But so up next we've got Gyarados, and I put the shiny red Gyarados on here because specifically in the game you hear about these legendary Pokemon, but it's so rare. Like, is it a wives' tale? Is it real? The internet isn't super prevalent. You see the red Gyarados in Gen 2, and you're just like, oh my god, what is this? The Lake of Rage. It is just so iconic. It's really probably the most popular, well-known shiny Pokemon, I'd have to say, just because it's the most apparent, certainly the most caught shiny Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the first. I mean, it was my first shiny, but it's the first time you even know that a shiny exists. Like, you pull up and you're like, "Why is it red?" And then it literally shines, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?" It's so beautiful.
And then we've got just a classic one that has a spot in my heart, Spoink. Just always thought it was a cool little dude. Kind of, you read the Pokedex entry, and the dude's just a grinder. If he stops bouncing, his heart will stop. Dude's just bouncing for his life. The cardio on this guy.
Constant. Just a constant fear of dying.
Just
And then he
constant.
evolves to Grumpig, and he just gets fat.
Right, it's like he doesn't deserve this. He's been working his whole life. He's been grinding. And then finally, the last third team spot, another Gen 1 classic Golduck. And I was trying not to have too much water down here, and I was like, no, not Golduck. No, not Kingler. Had a close nod. I had Totodile was almost the starter I had in here, but we went back and we're like, you know what? Golduck we had to give the spot to. It was the first Pokemon I soloed the Elite Four with in both, I think, Gen 1 and Gen 2.
That is crazy, bro.
Ice Beam Surf. I want to say I had Toxic in there too. Might have had Rest, but no, I definitely had more PP than that. But it was an all-timer.
Wow, I just got a Golduck on my Platinum Nuzlocke, and he did just clutch up with a Blizzard. I sent him in. Dan was with me. I sent him in, and I was just like, well, we got to say goodbye to the Golduck. And then I clutched up on a Blizzard on the Honchkrow from Cyrus. It was huge.
Dude, that was, Golduck's sick, dude. All right, Tyrell, I think it's your turn, bro.
All right, dude. First team. I do have some overlap. I'd also like to say I've got 1 Gen 1, 5 Gen 2s, 2 Gen 3s, 4 Gen 4s, 1 Gen 5, 3 Gen 6, 0 Gen 7, fuck that gen, 1 Gen 8, 1 Gen 9. So yeah, first up is my favorite Pokemon of all time. It is a Kingdra. Kingdra is
All-timer.
just simply the fucking best. I don't know how neither of you had him on there. What is that? Just what a cool fucking poke going from Gen 1, going from a Seadra, which like Seadra in itself looks fucking awesome. I just love his design. It's just like he's really not usable because his fucking special defense is 45. So he gets cooked if he gets hit by any special move. But like Seadra had 95 defense, 95 special attack. And what did they do when you evolved to Kingdra? Attack, defense, special attack, and special defense all go to 95. speed stays at 85, and HP goes up to 75. So he's got 540 base stat, adds the dragon typing, fucking sick. Sniper ability, unreal. I feel like also very iconic in the second gyms with Claire. It's just like she just fits for a Kingdra. Just what a cool Gen 2 poke. So favorite Pokemon of all time. Secondly, we were talking about earlier, one of the coolest moments when you watch the first movie is when you get a fucking Donphan just rolling out, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" Just incredible. I just love the design. The tusks are just so cool. It's like he's like a Rhyhorn, but like cooler, like not just all rock. It's like an elephant, but he's like mobile. And then, you fast forward to the later gens, you get Iron Treads as well. But I wish the usability was better. You don't really get a Phanpy until like before Blackthorn City, which is ridiculous. But in Crystal Legacy, another plug there, you get him early and it's pretty fucking sick. So Donphan's second favorite of all time. Thirdly, we got the big boss Pokemon, Honchkrow. So it's literally a bird. It's one of the most iconic, like, evil, not Team Rocket, but Team Plasma pokes. It's just like he just fits. Like, he's wearing this hat. He's dark type. He's strong as shit. He's strong as shit as well. He's got 125 attack, which is just like crazy. And 100 HP, 105 special attack if you want to throw Heat Wave on there, and still 71 speed. Like, defenses are a little low, but like he's kind of a fucking monster. Hidden ability of Moxie is just fucking sick as well. So very cool poke. Next up, we've all had him on the list. Iconic Scizor. I've got him on a playthrough on Platinum right now. It is so sick, but again, just the feeling of like finding that metal coat and just like evolving that thing for the first time is just like crazy. Next one is one that nobody had, which I was pretty surprised at, but I went Salamence. For me, Salamence was just like the coolest fucking pseudo. Like, I think it was because it was like tough to get. Like, you had to climb all the way to the top of what was the name of that? Meteor Falls. And you had to have water,
bro.
Way the fuck up there, dude. Like, and you had to wait
till water fly up to everything, dude. Yeah,
and the other thing was like Gen 3 had the dual pseudos, so it was like you get the Metagross, like in Emerald you get Steven gives it to you, right? But like then you could go catch the Salamence, and it was like versus Gen 1 was like just Dragonite. Gen 2 you could get a Dragonite, but it was Tyranitar. This was the first gen with like dual like new pseudos. Fucking 135 attack. Do you know what that's higher than?
What? My taxes? Sorry.
Garchomp only has 130 attack, dude. That's awesome. First of all, that's not higher than our taxes for sure. We live in Connecticut, so. But 135 attack is fucking monstrous, dude, and 110 special attack. So you can make him a mixed attacker, 95 HP, but he's got a higher attack stat than fucking Garchomp. That's crazy. Crazy. Garchomp does have him by speed by 2, so that's the only,
Both have been compared to fighter and like jet planes, so
yeah, insane.
All
right,
that has him.
Yeah, it's sick, dude. Drake has him in the Elite Four, like that's so cool,
dude. Mega Salamence too, and he's got a
new form too, yeah.
Well, yeah, not the Paldean, or I guess it would be Paldean version, just whatever it is. He was an old Pokemon, Dark Wings or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, he's fucking sick. So he made my first team. Last member of the first team. So, obviously I'm biased towards the early starters, but I just really love the design of the Typhlosion Hisuian. So I went with him. You add the ghost typing into an already like sick poke. Like, I just look at those flames, dude. Oh, So cool. So
Got a really they again improved on an early gen. Like my thing too is I like it when he's got the fire on. My biggest problem with him is like in the game for some reason just always doesn't have his fire
yeah, it's
on.
not on. Yeah.
So it doesn't look as cool. But when they have their fire on, like Typhlosion, when he's looking angry and like full fire going, is so cool. I hate how they animate him where he just like looks more docile when you're like this thing is erupting. You know, and Hisuian I think is a really cool play on it too, of like adding the ghost type.
Yeah, I think it's a very cool poke. So, second team didn't quite make the cut, but got some cool pokes in here. First one, another one that you guys didn't have, Gliscor.
That's
just
right. You are a big Gliscor guy.
Just a fucking cool Gen 4.
Pinchers.
Again, another play on an earlier Gen poke. The design is fucking sick. When you see him moving, like animated in the game, like it's so cool. He's just kind of floating, like slithering like a fucking snake in air. You know, he's got like that scorpion bat combo, dude. His eyes are crazy. He's got the pinchers. It's just such a cool fucking poke. And then you add in, you know, he's got 125 physical defense, like he's a wall, 95 attack, and 95 speed. And when you look at his overall base stat, it's like it's only 5'10", but that's because his special attack is just like 45. Like they just basically were like, yeah, he's not a special attacker. So like that just takes away from what his total really is. But he's like better than a 5'10", you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But design alone, he's just second teamer for sure. Next one is it almost really jumped the Gliscor for first team, but I had to have a starter on there. I felt like, but I went with Milotic. When you talk about the fucking difficulty to get this, the percentage. Okay, I did a quick Google.
It's only two spots under like one bridge,
so
right?
There's 6 spots at any one time on Route 119, but it's 6 tiles. The percent of getting it's a 50% encounter rate when you fish in one of those 6 randomly selected water tiles, but there are 400 water tiles. So it's like on that one route. So the percentage of getting a Feebas, if you just were to, you know, randomly go throw it in there, is 0.76%. So it's just like it's so fucking hard. And before the internet, now we had internet once fucking Emerald came out, but it was just like before that, like how would you ever figure out how to catch a fucking Feebas?
It would just be pure luck. It'd just be you're swimming around and you just throw your rod on the right spot.
Yeah, but you have there's 6
now,
out
did they
of
have was eggs was a thing, right? Yeah, so like that was the thing. You just basically hope one of your boys got a Feebas, and then you just would breed it and just trade all, you know. Or at least that's what happened
pretty
with me.
much it, yeah. But then, I mean, there is some way, I can't remember, because we just replayed through that, and it's like there is a way to kind of rig it so that, like, you change it to a certain day and time, and it will definitely be this one tile or something like that. But other than that, it's a 50% chance. So it's like, even let's say you fished 3 times in the same tile and like all 3 times got a tentacle. It's like it still could be the right tile. You just like it's a 50% chance. So like you just missed 3 times. So it's just crazy. And then also just to evolve him, it's like initially you had to go win a beauty contest. Like that's insane. And then, you know, now you can just trade with like a whatever prism scale or whatever. Or just level it up with the max beauty. But early on, it was like crazy to do it. And then, but again, stat wise, 125 special defense, 95 HP. And then it also has Marvel scale. So it raises the defense by 50% if you get a status. So it's just like you fucking get paralyzed. It's like, great. Now my defense at 79 just goes up 50%. Like now your both defenses are like 125. It's fucking crazy. He's a monster.
Pretty all time.
So,
Milo is cool.
All right. Next up, you know, we've all had the Chomp. He's the land shark. Just absolutely, there's really nothing else to be said about it. Cynthia is one of the best, if not the best, of all time in terms of champions that you fight. And you know, the Chomp is the Chomp. So,
would you say Cynthia's Garchomp is harder than Whitney's Miltank?
100%.
Right? You got to, right? I mean, there's a point they both have, like, both are in a certain point in the game where it's like Garchomp was like, hey, you're fully loaded, ready to go. Like Whitney kind of comes out of nowhere and like, but like I just always felt like the Cynthia's Garchomp just got me, dude. Like
I
you
think
could, even you just
I think if you're talking about like a Nuzlocke run too, it's like sure that like the Miltank's coming, you know what I mean? And it's like there's
yeah.
really nothing before it. It's like a Clefairy, like you can like handle Biz and you get one move to stop the rollout and like whatever. Obviously
Yeah.
the first time everybody went into Miltank, we all didn't realize that we would get slaughtered. But once you know what she has, you can avoid it. But like you're going against the champ. She's got this Garchomp, but if you're in a Nuzlocke and one thing goes wrong and you only have one or two pokes with ice types, like you're fucked. And even if you do, it's like that thing will still. It doesn't matter that it's quad weak to ice. It fucking tanks somehow, and then it'll just smoke you, and then all of a sudden you're fucked because it's fast and strong as shit. So he's a beast. Next up, stay with a little Gen 4.
Oh,
We've
classic.
all talked about it, but Infernape. The only thing we didn't mention is the iconic matchup between the Ash's Infernape, and Paul's Electivire.
Yeah, dude.
That
Just that
one of the
it made
sickest
Blaze
anime
cool.
battles.
It made Blaze cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's just one of the coolest fucking battles in the anime, so that's a cool one. Next up is a Gen 6er that we didn't talk about, and honestly, I don't know if he deserves to be second team, but he's just so cool that I just had to put him on there.
Hot
So yeah,
take.
Dragalge.
You know who he reminds me of?
Yeah, give me an NBA comp.
I'll give you a Pokemon comp. Upper
Oh,
left,
okay.
Kingdra.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why I like him
He's
so
got
much.
some mad Kingdra vibes, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty fucking close, I guess. Same kind of body design,
You got a
both
type.
dragon types. But it's like the Dragalge's poison dragon, like that's so fucking cool. And special defense is like 123, special attack 97. Like his base stats are just not amazing after that, but it's like those two stats alone are solid. And I think he didn't get a lot of usage because it's hard to train him, and he evolves at 48. You gotta have a Skrelp till fucking level 48. That's ridiculous. Skrelp is so bad. So I feel like the usage rate is pretty low for him. But when he's on your team, he is so fucking cool. So I included him in there. Last but not least, we have all talked about him. He's one of the coolest fucking Gen 2s, Heracross. Dual typing, the headbutt thing is just everybody remembers it. And then it's like, if you get him, you're going to go slaughter Whitney. So, all right, on to third team. Also got a different starter. So, pretty cool. One of my favorites, Superior. It's just such a cool design. I just love Snivy. I feel like Snivy, in the anime too, it's just like a quirky poke. And then just like in general, I feel like you pick him and it's like he looks like this like stuck up entitled little poke, and then it's this like rich boy fucking shit, and then it evolves into this like awesome grass snake, and it's just so fucking cool. And then later on you get Contrary, and it's like you can just fucking Leaf Storm, or what was it? Leaf Storm, was that the strat?
Yep, especially mine. Well, yeah, I don't know how. Was that Gen? Could you change natures?
This was natures or abilities?
Ability, excuse me.
No, this was still Gen 5, so like
Okay.
we didn't have,
But yeah,
well,
no,
the
but I think
grottos,
Contrary came out later on, so you could change it in like competitive and stuff.
yeah, you could go. I mean, yeah, if you sent him up for sure, but like, how did you even do? Did you have to go to the Dream World? That was how you got the hidden ability?
Yeah, it was Gene World, or you just basically had a hope for like you. It was just one of those like almost like shiny hunting things.
Yeah, I just don't even know. I thought the hidden abilities were just in the hidden grottos. That's how you got. What was Dragonite's hidden ability that was so crazy?
Marvel scale.
Marvel scale. That's right. Same as the Milotic.
Yeah, which is so funny. Like it's like Milo. It's got dragon scales basically.
Yeah, so sick. All right, next up, we all talked about this one as well, but he's so fucking good, dude. T-Tar, 134 attack, which again, 1 point below Salamence. Just keep that in context. We know how good Tyranitar is. Salamence is slept on, man. 110 defense, 100 special D. He's just a fucking beast. 100 HP, monster, rock dark, so cool. We've chatted about him. All right, next up, we've got another cool one. I decided we didn't have any fossils out here, and I felt like
I'm gonna start Lord Helix.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Lord Helix was a first team honoree. But Tyrantrum is just like such a cool fucking poke. Again, another dragon type. I guess I have a few on here. But I just love the dragon types are so cool. He's literally a dragon monster, strong jaw or rock head. 121 attack. Yeah, just such a cool design on him. And I've definitely used him. It's not even a dig on what's the ice type Arma? Can't even think of the name of it.
What are your Amora or Amora?
Ooh.
It was a Brachiosaurus,
something like that. But yeah, it's like that thing is cool too, like a ice rock. And
I really liked that. This was cool, but I thought they crushed the fossils that gen.
They did, right? And it was like a hard choice to not take that one, but this is like you're telling me I can get this Tyrannosaurus Rex, dude. Like, of course I'm taking him. So yeah, I thought he was just kind of a cool mon. So next up, the alpha of all alphas.
Yes, sir.
Victory Bell, you know how I feel.
You had to.
Yeah, I had to.
Jesse
snuck
James.
in third team, yeah, the anime plays a huge role. It's good, man. You can set up with this thing, dude. It's got Sucker Punch, Leaf Blade. Like, I used to use this and Cacturn, like, really competitively, and would just set up, like, substitute fucking Sucker Punch, Leaf Blade, all this shit. And, Sleep Powder. It's just such a cool poke, such a great design. I do have a Shundo Victory Bell, which is so cool in Pokemon Go. So
all time.
Next up, Gen 6er that nobody really talked about. We didn't really talk about Talonflame, and feel like kind of slept on. Like, I know you talked about Pidgeot. There's some other great birds. We didn't talk about Staraptor. Swallow, solid, but I feel like Talonflame, like an early bird that has the fire typing,
he might be
so
the best.
it's so unique.
Yeah.
It's so unique, dude. Having a fire flying, like it's not just your bitch, your HM slave to like take you wherever. It's like this thing can fucking, flame charge, flame wheel, flare blitz when you get really into it and just take some HP recoil. But like he's a beast. And lastly, I went new gen, and we both had him. So Toxicity, very fucking cool design, loved him.
Fuck yeah, dude. I think the segment's been, it's like a really good segment for us to have. Like it was definitely a bigger project of the Pokemon side of things.
I love it, dude. It's a great idea.
Yeah, which is great. Because I feel like our next subject, the NBA, since we're talking, we talked to all at Pokemon NBA teams. I mean, obviously the Thunder winning in Game 7 last night. Obviously it's so crazy to think because, the first thing I want to talk about is how, crazy of a season SGA had. But I think we all understand, like, it didn't matter how good the Thunder are. The only thing I feel like a lot of people are going to remember from this is obviously the Halliburton injury.
Right.
What do you guys agree with that? What do you think? What do you think this NBA Finals in 2025 is going to be remembered by? Is it going to be a young Thunder's team, or is it going to be the Halliburton injury?
I think that it was certainly a good, like, young Thunder's team. I think that there's always the term, like, NBA stats that get a little bit outrageous. And some of the seeing no one has ever won the scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP, and Conference Finals MVP in a season. I feel like that is a little bit like, well, you're telling me that Shaq wouldn't have won the Conference Finals MVP when he won the Finals MVP, the scoring title, and the MVP. You're telling me Jordan wouldn't have done it the 4 times he won the MVP, the Finals MVP, and the scoring title.
Or Tim Duncan in 03. I mean, it's one of those things.
That's what
Shut
I
the
mean.
fuck
Like,
up.
Tim Duncan wouldn't have won the conference finals MVP. Like, he absolutely would have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the players that are doing MVP and Finals MVP are probably gonna do that.
But
Yeah.
on the Halliburton piece, I heard an interesting take that I think I kind of agree with, where I hope that it is remembered as like the Pacers came up short, but Halliburton gave it his all. And it's like if you have
Literally
the
everything he
best
had.
best case scenario for Halliburton, right, is you play through the pain and you don't get injured. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
say the injury is like going to happen if you play. Is it
Yeah.
better to play, get injured, and have the closure to some extent of like, you know what? I played till the wheels came off. It wasn't quite enough, but I gave it my all. Or you don't play, right? You know, you say, okay, I think
Yeah.
there were 23 people that had this calf injury, and Halliburton was the only one that like played through it. And I think a lot of it is because KD ruptured the Achilles in 2019 the same way, right? When Toronto won it. And
Damian Lillard did earlier this
and
year with he had a calf strain too.
Jason
And
Tatum
then,
right.
also. Oh no, I guess no. Jason Tatum was more freak. He didn't have the calf thing. Forget. But yeah,
yeah,
Lillard had that.
And
Yeah,
I
Lillard had the
just
calf strain.
I think that if you don't play, like say you take it off, right? You like your Halliburton, you don't play it, and your
Mm-hmm.
team loses. I feel like for the rest of your career, as like until you win a championship, always in the back of your mind is like, could I have gone that night? Like would it have been different if I played? And
yeah,
like the injury sucks and like don't wish it on anyone, but I almost feel like it's the right thing to play through it and like go for the championship, and you're one game away. And like maybe you're 2 games away in game 6 when it was in injury risk too, but it's like you're as good as next season could be. There's no promise that you're 2 games away.
for
And
sure,
I feel like you
for
got to
sure.
play through it, and like, you know what? It's a calculated risk and it sucks that you got injured, but you got to respect the call.
I think you have to play in that. That's one of those things. Like I've trained my whole life to be in a Game 7 NBA Finals, and you just think about the path they took to get there. Like the Pacers shouldn't have even been in the chip, bro. The fucking comeback against the Bucks was insane. The comeback against the Knicks. I mean, every series they had some ridiculous comeback of down 20
And
plus.
usually it was Tyrese Halliburton's like big shot at the end to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's just like I mean, it's such a hard thing, but I think if you're a player, I think you have to play. Like you're saying, it would always be in the back of your mind. Like if I played, it's it's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Like if Coach would have put me in the fourth quarter, we would have been state champs, no doubt in my mind.
I mean they would have. I mean that's a fact.
Yeah.
You want to see me throw a pigskin over those mountains over there?
Bro, there's 3 certainties in life right now: death, taxes, and Uncle Rico throwing that football over the mountains, and he would have won the national champ. I like, you know what I'm saying? It just is certain. It's not a, he just couldn't. Obviously.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, I think when you look back at this in years to come, I mean, it's like what a weird playoffs that it really was. Just to have these two teams there, I think what it tells the NBA is that like the league is no longer defined by like you have to have a big 2 or big 3,
Yeah.
because it's like as much as Jalen Williams is a stud, I think coming in, I mean, he definitely opened my eyes that he can fucking drop 40 in like a clutch playoff game, but it's just like I didn't think he was this good. Like he definitely is a great number 2 guy and like is only going to get better. But like when you look at the roster and you look at it's like, okay, it's SGA, like sure he grew a lot and it was MVP, but then it's like after that, it's like look at the rest of the team. They're just, if you had this as a 2K team, if you're looking at their stats,
Yeah.
you're not going to be like, this team's going to blow everybody out of the water. I'm going to take the Suns with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Nurkic, Grayson Allen. Like, it's like that team to me on paper feels like they would be disgusting. And they didn't even make the fucking playoffs. So it's like, I feel like you surround the team with like disgusting players that are like just good defenders, just gritty defenders that don't really care if they score, but if they do, great. You got Caruso, Lou Dort, Casey Wallace, right? Like all those guys,
Yeah.
like they don't care if they score. Isaiah Hartenstein is just like, let me go get 12 boards and a couple assists. Like if I hit a couple floaters, great. but like nobody's like out there trying to score other than SGA and Jalen Williams, and the rest of them are just filling in, making good cuts, and playing good D. And that strategy fucking got a chip. And you look at the Pacers, it's a similar kind of thing where like they, Siakam's a great player, but like that's the number two, and then after that, it's like a bunch of guys that coming into the season, you're probably like, I mean, Miles Turner's a vet, but other than that, like Nemhard and Neesmith and like McConnell and like those guys, like not that you write them off, but you're definitely not thinking like these guys are championship caliber.
So I think one thing that you mentioned earlier, like the Big Three era is over, and I don't know how much you've read into the cap, but the NBA owners are really against this thing of a hard cap, which is you can just, if there is a hard cap, like it gets really challenging to make some contracts work, and so they don't want that. But the way the league set it up is there's fundamentally a hard cap. Like you get taxed a shit ton and you can't do anything if you go above this thing. And with that, I feel like killing the Big Three era, like you have Jaylen Brown has a 5-year, $304 million supermax contract, which is essentially $60 million a year. And Jaylen Brown's a great player, but he's getting paid the same
Finals
as
MVP,
Giannis, and he's getting paid the same as Jokic, and he's getting paid the same amount as SGA. And it's like, he's a tremendous player, but would you rather have Jaylen Brown or Derek White and Miles Turner, who are cheaper than Jaylen Brown? You can like plug and play.
I just want to say real quick before we get into that, all the players you just said, would you rather have a Finals MVP, and Jaylen Brown also has a Finals MVP. So you only named Finals MVPs making that money. If you're not, if
typically
you
those
said,
people that get that much.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, right? Right, where it was like if you said right now, hey, I'm going to pay the player that wins Finals MVP, I'm going to pay him what was the salary you were saying, like 50 million or some shit,
60?
like the max
60, yeah,
60,
Super
right?
max,
so if you told you without complete context of anything, right? You do not know Jaylen Brown. The only thing you know about Jaylen Brown is he's a Finals MVP. You know, like you're like, oh well, yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously, like the context of it, it's like, yeah, like if you then add context, and Jaylen Brown's just not that player.
I guess my
so
point
you can't
is
pay
like
him that much. You know what I'm saying? Like it just isn't, you know.
I
It's
think
like
the
on
worst,
paper, like that's the problem. Yeah, it's like more NBA and merit based.
The worst contract you can get is a player that is up for a contract, earns the supermax, and is not a perennial All NBA player. Like
100%.
Jaylen Brown earned it, and you like kind of have to give it to him. And I'm like thinking of like, is Devin Booker on the supermax? And like again, a tremendous player, but like when you have to, he has to be as valuable as Jokic, like salary wise. And it's like I don't know. It's those second tier.
Yeah, I think I honestly think one of the biggest things they could do to fix in the next CBA is to maybe like make this one contract. Like you have one contract, like they still want to do the hard cap or the second apron or whatever like that. But if they made an exception, like you have one max contract in your team, like that's not against your hard tax. You can pay everyone else. Like, what would you guys think about that? Like, what if you said every team now has one spot? You have literally only one spot on your team. You're going to give them the max, and that contract's not against your cap. Like, obviously the Jokic's, the Giannis's, the Luka Doncic's of the world, or you would say that, right? But if like, let's just say you're the Boston Celtics, or I don't know, like maybe like the Charlotte Hornets, like
you can't give the second guy it.
Yeah, like you can't get that second guy. So like, let's just say you're trying to build something and you're trying to, like form a thing. Do you find it like the big three, like if you gave that to an NBA franchise, do you think that would help the league or like kind of fuck things up? Because now I feel like now it's like basically so hard to dump salaries. Like everything has to be to the penny if you're in the second apron. So it's so hard to build a team.
It's interesting. It's just like I think that like that's a super cool like theoretical like what if every team happens. The one thing that I'm thinking about is like logistically, how do you have trades and that exists together? Like you can only trade your max guys. Like if you have a guy under contract, you couldn't trade him to another team that had a max guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it make things more complicated, but it's so hard to trade nowadays. Like
Hmm.
like people like if you go like
It would be
everything's gonna match.
interesting.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, the Celtics, who again are, you could say, still on paper right now, might have the best, other than the Thunder, maybe the best team on paper, right? Of like the amount of guys they have and whatever. They have to get rid of like either Porzingis, Drew Holiday, like Peyton Pritchard, like one of these guys that was so valuable and such a like I would say a top 7 guy in a rotation of like is playing every single game and is impacting the game every time. They like it's so much money that like they have to trade these players, and they're like you want to get value for them, but because of the contracts, like you can't ship them all three and you can't dump it, right? Like the Porzingis trade, he's making probably 30 mil or something like that. That has to add up to the dollar. So
Right.
it limits your trade partners where it's like the other team also, mind you, can't be in the second apron, and they have to have the like the contracts that fit
Yeah.
perfectly. Like I feel like you're trying to shoot this really small target when you're almost criticized for like developing players and having so many great players. Like that's what's going to happen to the Thunder, where you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, Case and Wallace is not going to be on a rookie minimum soon. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Wiggins, like all these players they drafted and developed, they're going to get penalized because those guys are going to have to get paid, and like if you trade all of them to a big like it just messes everything up, man.
True,
I think
but
they need
I mean,
stuff.
like, I think to some extent, no matter what you do, it's like the disease of more, and like Kobe and Shaq couldn't coexist because they were both too big. Like they were too good. And
Oh, that's Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Like those are two alpha dog. Like Shaq, I feel like is I, I don't know. I feel like in this modern era, we're seeing more of the two guys that can hold the throne a little bit. But I feel
like
like
if you
Kobe
want
and
an
Shaq
alpha
are still
dog and you
iconic.
want the big contract, like I feel like you're an alpha. If you're willing to like settle for less, then yeah, probably not an alpha.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm giving up. Like I don't know. Well, no, I wouldn't. I think there's a point of Shaq's personality and stuff like that. I'm just saying like with those two guys specifically, but it's like I think if you look at like the Celtics, like people want to talk about like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like bring it back to Jaylen Brown's thing of like who's the like is Jason Tatum the alpha? Like who's the Jaylen Brown's the alpha? Like
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think I think they give it like it's Tatum's team, but like again, Brown won the Finals MVP, and like
And Eastern
Brown,
Conference Finals, like again, he swept all the MVPs. They said every single series, Jaylen Brown was more valuable to the team than Jason Tatum,
yeah,
which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to think.
it's crazy, but I think it's again one of those things where it's like if Jaylen Brown is traded to another team, I would love to see like does he step up and play like the one, or is he just the best two in the league?
It's true.
You know,
I just
you know
think,
what I mean?
and like,
Yeah.
Is he the best Robin, or is he like a really good Batman?
which is true. And I think the Celtics, and mind you, like, I think the Celtics are kind of getting penalized because you drafted and developed both these guys, and they're both going to
And
command max contracts. And if they pay them both, they can't pay anyone else.
Right?
one random because the Sixers were irrelevant, but I gotta sneak some Maxi love in here. The concept of like a number two, I've always just thought like, okay, you try to be the best player, and if you're just not the best player, you're number two. Maxi was talking about his development and playing along Embiid and playing along Ben Simmons as point guard and playing along James Harden as point guard and kind of being asked to do a lot of different things at different times. And he was saying that over the summer, the one thing that he was practicing was like the two-man game with Embiid and like watching a lot of Embiid film, and maybe he wasn't with Embiid, but he would have someone trying to do Embiid moves, and he was practicing how to play off it. And I'm like, that is almost an explicitly number two mentality of like, I'm just gonna get good at being how
That's
to
just
be
a
a
good.
number two to
That's a
my
good Kentucky player.
yeah.
That's just. He learned that at the University of Kentucky. He learned that
Like I'm
only
gonna be the
specifically.
best number two possible to this guy.
Exactly, because at the University of Kentucky, you learn you're not special. You know, you could be John. You could be John Wall, but guess what? DeMarcus Cousins is right next to you, man. I don't care who you are. Play through the team. Play what you need to do. And I think Max is going to be. It's again. It keeps ascending, especially the Sixers are. I mean, I feel like we could all. I mean, we could do a whole segment on the Sixers if we really needed to, but
Coming
I don't know.
soon
It's coming
in the
soon. We'll
off
go see. I
season.
mean, the draft. I mean, guys, the draft is coming up in literally like
Yeah,
what 2
Wednesday.
days?
Oh yeah, Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
you have
maybe
Ace
that's
Bailey canceling stuff. Like, I mean, the draft something always happens. So whatever we're talking about, do you guys? We'll kind of end the NBA stuff because I know we got One Piece going up, but like,
stay tuned for the
well,
draft next episode.
exactly. Well, next episode we'll talk about how Cooper Flag's going to lead Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. But do you guys have any wild predictions for the draft? Like you just say one wild prediction of like, hey, I think this is going to happen at the draft.
I got to think about that.
I'll start. So I honestly believe Giannis is going to get traded during the draft.
Ooh.
I think in East, and it's going to be in the East. He's going to the East. He's not going to the West. I don't know who's going to do it, but the East is so wide open. It's going to be the draft. There's so many teams with so many picks. I think one team in the East is making a move because they know for a fact, hey, we can at least put ourselves in a chance to play probably the Thunder again, and I think Giannis again is, if he's not 3, he's 2, of just best players in the world right now. I really think Giannis is a game changer. And if you're like an East, like, hey, you're a New York Knicks, why not trade Cat? Like, why don't you go some team is going to decide we need to go all in the East, and I'm really happy. Dude, if you told me the Magic are coming in the Eastern Conference Finals next year, I would not be surprised. I don't think they're gonna be doing the crazy move because they did a great move in getting Desmond Bane, but I think Giannis is gonna get traded to some team in the East. Clip that, motherfucker. What's the time? 6:23, 10:31. You can dunk on me when he doesn't go anywhere, and the Bucks ended up trading away Damian Lillard somehow.
Oh man, well, yeah. What was the rumor of like? Because I think it was Matt was telling me like, would you do this trade? And it was something to do with Giannis going somewhere. I'm trying to find it, but I can't.
But
Find
no,
it.
I get you. Hey, I
But I do
understand.
feel
It's crazy. It's wild, and I'm hoping that we can clip this and show how cool and right I am. And we get millions of views on TikTok because I crushed the Giannis to the East, an East team.
I
I
feel like
was thinking.
Philly gets the Rookie of the Year. I feel like they'll find a way. They've gotten a couple the last times. I feel like Cooper Flag gets injured and is a Duke bust.
So your wild prediction is what? What is it?
Philly with the 3 pick, whoever it is,
Yeah.
wins Rookie of the Year.
Bang! The full long game. I fucking love that. when next year's yeah, we'll get there.
Dude, we were on pace this year. Simmons.
Yeah. McCain. Yeah, McCain was there, dude. Hey, low key, while Andrew thinks about his wild take, just a Sixers 30-second with Romeo and Dan. I think we go VJ Edcombe, and I think VJ Edcombe becomes a more athletic Victor Oladipo at 3. And that's my Sixers talk.
I like
that a lot, actually. That's a great take. Yeah, Ace Bailey really dropped a lot. They have Con Knipple, however the fuck you say his name, Newple, from Duke, projected at 4 to go to the Hornets.
That's such a Hornets pick. The Hornets are 100% picking Con Knipple because they're fucking dumb.
Crazy, dude. If he actually goes at 4, like I just feel like Ace Bailey they have dropping a 6.
Yeah, well, he's just not taking anything. He thinks he's gonna go undrafted and then sign with like the Lakers or something. Which you would love, but for some reason he just doesn't want to take fucking. He's like, I'm gonna tell you where I'm going. It's like, yo, you're Ace Bailey. If you're Cooper Flag, yeah, you get to tell me where you're going. But Cooper Flag's going 1. I'm sorry, bro. Don't be bad about it. And guess what? Dylan Harper's going 2, because guess what? He's better than you, Ace Bailey. Sorry.
Yeah. That's it.
Mind you, if the Sixers do take Ace Bailey, I think Ace Bailey's fucking awesome, and I'm so happy I get Ace Bailey.
Good taste.
All right, Pearl, what's your wild take, bro? What are you doing?
I honestly, I don't really have one. I don't want to gaslight and throw
Oh, dude, we're in the
I
podcasting business, bro. To have a take, stand on it. What are you going?
I don't have a take though. I just don't have the.
You don't think the Lakers are going to trade for a center?
I don't think that happens on draft night.
Okay, all right.
Hey, that's a fair, honest.
I guess you don't have a pick that you think is going to go a little higher than you know what I'm saying? Like, do you think Con Knipple goes 3?
No, I think he goes like 6. But
sorry, I I just want to pull
Um,
clips so that way we have it on tape of like, if we're terribly right.
I just don't have a good take. I'm sure there's going to be a big trade. I feel like the Giannis is a good take, but I don't have like a.
Admittedly, we had the Pokemon prep. We didn't have good draft takes prep.
I
At
had
least I
no
didn't.
draft.
But
I know I threw
No
it
draft.
on you. I wanted to, you got it sometimes.
raw.
Yeah, hey, you got to go live. You got to figure it out. Let's work on our transition ball. We got our set plays, but can we freestyle a little bit? Can we be the Showtime Lakers? Can we,
I like it.
This
I
is where
like
we're
it.
growing. This is episode 3. Let's grow. Let's keep growing. Let's evolve through creativity and positivity.
Firestone.
I respect that.
All right, I'm dragging us into the One Piece section, and can you guys see on Twitch the
Oh yeah.
panels that I've got
I'm
right now?
watching on Twitch. Yeah.
All right, so the topic that we're going over today is we are just going to go over some technologies that we've seen through the One Piece universe. And it's very easy to see this is a wacky, like fun pirate fictional, like everything's crazy. It is wild and maddening the level of detail the author Oda goes into in cultivating this universe and making tools and making sciences that fit the universe that end up being relevant later or help with the world building in some sense. So starting off here, this is chapter 97. This is when Tashigi and Zoro are in the sword shop, and Tashigi sees Zoro's thing, the Wado Ichimonji, the straight road of peace. And Zoro's like, Wado what? Look at this. No great shakes. Are you nuts? This is one of the great 21. It's a famous sword. And so then this guy is kind of pissed because he was going to pull a fast one over on Zoro and get this sword cheap. And we go into here and we get this. In any case, I'll use my Autumn Rain to hone my skills as a swordsman. I'm going to collect all the famous swords that have fallen into the hands of Emu Worlds. I'll get the 12 supreme grade swords, the 21 excellent grade swords, and the 40 fine grade swords, even if it kills me. And so this right here, we get from a pretty, like, Tashiki's whole character is she's a sword nut. She's talking to Zoro and they're in this sword shop. Do you have any guesses of any of these swords that maybe we've seen?
Maybe Mihawk.
Mihawk is a pretty good guess. He has a pretty wild, massive sword.
I feel like that's the only big sword we've seen.
I think that's the only one that I've seen. He just murdered everybody with like one swing of that thing.
So something to think about as you're going through is that in the world there are 12 of these supreme swords, 21 of these excellent.
That's definitely one supreme sword for sure.
Probably a supreme sword. Pretty fair guess. And then we get in here. Not that. I want the swords. I just don't mean to have them evil. It's the Kitetsu. Take this one. No, not that one. I can't sell that one. Why not? The sword's been bewitched. Have you heard of it? No, I can just tell. The first Kitetsu and its successors are good blades, but they're all cursed. Famous swordsmen have died tragic deaths because they wield the Kitetsu swords. These days, no swordsman in the world uses a Kitetsu. And if so, and if he did, he wouldn't be around for long. And then we have this classic scene where Zoro says, like, fuck it, we ride. Throws the sword up, and then it comes down and just misses his arm. And he's like, boom, we'll take it. But we have the Supreme Swords, which are these awesome ones. And then we also have the Kitetsu. The first one, the second one, they're all cursed. So first thing we've got are some swords to look out for. Now, the next thing I've got is what happens to devil fruit users when they're in the water?
Can't swim.
They can't swim. Anything else?
Like a fucking bag of rocks.
They kind of like lose their powers, right? They get weaker. I think they say the soul is like sapped from them. They lose their ability to swim, and it negates the devil fruit powers. So in here early, we've got Buggy and Alvida, and they're coming down. Luffy just got zapped by the lightning. Smoker's pissed that Luffy got away, and he says, I've got no time to waste with you guys. Bring me the bike. He's too strong. He has the powers of this fruit. He got everyone in one swoop. Now, we know that Buggy and Alvida have kind of devil fruit powers to get out. What is this lousy steel net anyway? And what was that weird weapon he used? It's a prison bullet developed by the Navy for use against devil fruit people. Now we're just common criminals. And this is early One Piece, and there is not, like, there's a lot of translation errors earlier on. But in here, they're essentially saying there's this funky steel net that makes these people that are devil fruit users just common criminals. And if we jump ahead from chapter 100 to chapter 169, we have Luffy is in prison in Alabasta, and he goes here and he walks up, and he looks pretty happy. And then, I feel so weak. Like, what's wrong? Are you hungry? And then he
They
gets...
put it in the metal, something with the metal, right? Just like the steel wrap. Right.
So
I didn't catch that first one with the steel net at all.
So it's a poor translation. Like, the Japanese kanji is the same, but it translated to steel net. And then I think Oda came in and said, the tip of the club has a sea prism stone, which this steel net, like, it says steel net, this is functionally sea prism stone. It's just like a translation error. The people translating didn't know that this is a, like, in-world, like, funky translation. But it makes devil fruit users common criminals, and I feel so weak, saps the power. Kind of the same thing. Sea prism. It's like you're in the sea. You jerk. If it was a fight, I'd smoke you. Helped defeat a huge bomb once. What's wrong with me? I can't move. It's like the time I fell in the water. When you're in the water, you lose the power. That's right. What did you do? It's the tip of his club. It has sea prism stone embedded in it. They're mysterious stones found only in a certain place in the ocean. All the bars in the jail at Navy headquarters are made of this stuff, so criminals with devil fruit powers can't escape. We still don't understand all the sea prism stone's properties, but we know that it emits an energy identical to the oceans. Think of that as ocean in solid form. So the bars too. Yep.
So they're all reinforced with the sea prism, essentially.
Yep. So you'll find, like, a common theme throughout the story is you have these, like, powerful devil fruits, and a way to kind of temporarily stop the devil fruit users is if you can get them in the water, or if you can incapacitate them with sea prism stone. Whether it be he has a tip of the sword with sea prism, whether you have sea prism stone bars, whether you have sea prism stone handcuffs, whether you have, like, bullets with sea prism stone. Like, there's a lot of whatever way you can hit users with sea prism, it makes them feel weak and, like, incapacitated.
Right.
So then jumping back a little bit, so here this is a little technology, maybe a little bit more world building, but we're in the calm belt. The calm belt? What's that? Cut the small talk, lower the sails, and start rowing. We've got to get back to that storm. Why are you so worked up, row? Don't you know this is a ship? Just do what I tell you. But the weather's great. Fine, I'll explain it to you. The ship is drifting south, just like you said a moment ago. So what does that mean? We've entered the Grand Line. If it were that simple, anyone can do it. The Grand Line is sandwiched between two other seas. They're the calm belts, where no wind blows. Calm, huh? So there's no wind? So what? So this ocean is... What was that, an earthquake? We're at sea, you fool. So this is the Grand Line, and we kind of have the world with the reverse mountain, and you come up to the Grand Line. And the reason you can't leave is this calm belt, which is loaded with sea kings. Just, you can see the sunnies here. These things are all massive. We have a full spread sploosh. They're huge. It's a nest of Neptunian sea kings, same translation. Listen, when these guys go under again, we gotta row like mad. And so, in here, they kind of have all the currents that bring you into reverse mountain. So this is the north blue, the south blue, the east blue, the west blue. And then, so you can see east blue coming up
Yeah,
from
yeah.
here.
That's the calm belts that are on
And
either side, right?
they all bring you through this grand line. And look, you can see there's no way to go left. You can go up here and go right, but you can't get back down this way. But you can go right on the ground line, but you can't really go up or come from the North Blue and just jettison over, because the calm belt is insurmountable. Like, no pirate has really been able to do it. And then on Nami and Traveling, a couple chatters later, they're trying to set sail from Laboon with Crocus. And the compass, it's broken. It's spinning like crazy. You came to the Grand Line unprepared. Well, I never... were you planning to throw your lives away? I told you. There's nothing normal about these oceans. Your compass isn't broken. Then what is it? A magnetic field? Exactly. The many islands of the Grand Line Arch are rich in minerals. The region is filled with abnormal magnetic fields. And to make matters worse, the sea and the wind currents follow no clear pattern. As a mariner or navigator, you must realize how dangerous that is. If you were to set sail without knowing this, you would surely perish. And without any way of telling direction, your journey would be hopeless. But, lucky for them, you've got to have a log post if you're going to set sail on the Grand Line. A log post? What's that? It's a special compass that records magnetic fields. You mean a weird compass? They have an unusual shape. Like this? Yes, like that. The many islands of the Grand Line have magnetic fields that operate according to their own peculiar laws. Therefore, you must record the magnetic fields that connect one island to another in the log post and set sail to the next island. On this normal ocean, normal navigation instruments don't work, so you have to depend on your log post to display the magnetic fields. Using the mountains as your starting point, you must pick one of the 7 magnetic fields. No matter which island you begin from, all routes eventually become one, and the last island of them all is Raftail. It's the last island on the Grand Line. In all of history, only one group of pirates is known to have landed there for sure. The crew of the Pirate King. Raftail is the stuff of legends. So, kind of an all-time move. And this is actually, again, I've been talking about translation errors. L's and R's get mistaken, and Zolo is Zorro. It's actually not Raftail, but Laugh-tail. Like a laugh, like you're laughing.
Right.
But we kind of get this whole how we get to the next island. It's a plot point in Little Garden where the log pose would take a full year. They don't have time, so the giants hit them. When they're at Alabasta, they're looking for the log pose. We'll jump back to this. Into here, right, we have the log pose is pointing up. Our log pose has been captured by a sky island. So, like, the log pose ends up being a pretty pivotal point. And also just throwing in this full panel. I'll admit, maybe a little bit of a meta spoiler. This person hasn't paid off yet, and I'm still just waiting in the story for this person to be a pivotal character like Lillian Karen. But anything man can imagine is a possibility in reality. And these lines get mentioned maybe a couple times. So this is the source, 218. But we get the whole log pose. The log pose tracks islands. It's been a pretty pivotal plot point. Kind of gives Nami her shine as being the navigator. So this one probably glossed over as a technology because it's kind of not that well explained compared to all of the other stuff I went over. But Ace and Luffy link up, and Ace is about to leave, and he says, "Here, I want you to have that." Huh? Hang on to it always. It's just a piece of paper. Yeah, but that piece of paper will bring us together again. Huh? Don't you want it? I want it. A kid brother like you makes his big brother. So we get this paper, and we don't really get too much, but Ace says hang on to it, exclamation point. Always, exclamation point. Huh? It's just a piece of paper. Yeah, but that piece of paper will bring us again together. So we don't know much about this, but we've got this piece of paper that Luffy's hanging on to that Ace says is important and will bring us together. And And this one is what honestly inspired the video. This was a rabbit hole to try to find something associated with this and tie it together, but I kind of realized they're independent. But the theme is the government has this technology, and they have this net,
Fuck
and they
the
have
government.
Smoker's a Marine, and he has like it on the tip of his blade, and they have all of the jail cells in the Navy jail have this Sea Prism Stone. They're very technologically elite and advanced. So here, this is in Alabasta, and it's the fight with Chopper and Usopp against Mr. Four and Miss Wednesday. Maybe I have her name wrong, but the mole lady and the home run guy.
The mole
No,
lady.
she's not one. What is she? Fuck. I that's the worst part.
Not
Like
Miss
I know.
Marigold,
Yeah,
not Miss.
not
No,
Miss.
Wednesday is Vivi.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not. Is it Miss Sunday? All
No,
Sunday?
Sunday that's Robin.
Oh, that's
It's some
Robin.
holiday, I think, but I'm blanking.
It's
That's shame
Christmas.
on
Is it
me.
Christmas?
Might be Merry
I was
Miss
thinking
Christmas.
I was thinking
Yeah.
Christmas.
I think it's Christmas. Yeah,
I think it is Christmas.
because for some reason, like that, I remember that because it's like it makes no sense why she's Miss Christmas. Like that's
Yeah.
not.
So, hey, you sluggish elf, what are you waiting around for? Hurry up and kill them, you fool. Ah, the mole woman. She's a mole. I haven't transformed yet. Fool, you fool. Chopper, you'll have to take it from here. Just bury my body at sea. But you said you were here to help. But what the heck is that dog thing? How are we supposed to fight a creature like that? I'm only human. I'm human too. You're a monster. Oh yeah? Well, you have a break. His name is Lasso. He ate the mutt fruit, dash hound type. He's a gun. Now, one thing I've said a lot is there are a lot of translation errors. We're now at 184. Things have gotten a little bit more established. This is not a translation error. This is a gun that ate the mutt fruit model dash hound. So this is not a dog that ate the gun fruit. This is a gun that ate the dog fruit. A gun, it's the latest technology on the Grand Line. Even inanimate objects can eat devil fruits. And so Oda does a good job of explaining this here, and that's ridiculous. It was originally a gun?
Yeah.
Why is it
I
moving?
did not pick that up at all. I just assumed it was a dog that ate it, and I was like,
That's probably what most people think. That's ridiculous. It was originally a gun. Why is it moving? Devil fruits don't have a mind of their own. Shut up. You're as good as dead. Why should I waste my breath explaining it to you? It moves, and that's that fool. Right, Mr. Four? You're on our turf now. But yeah, so what are your thoughts? I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, it's just crazy because it's like I remember reading this and this entire fight, but I don't remember anything about the gun eating it. I just remember a dog that is a gun, and I was like, oh yeah, a dog must have eaten. But I read through this whole thing. I'm like, how the fuck did I miss that? But
yeah, it's interesting because it's not a. It opens the possibility of inanimate objects as devil fruit. So it's like maybe a person doesn't need to relinquish their ability to swim, but they can have a devil fruit enhanced weapon like this lasso dog type deal.
that's pretty crazy. I did not catch that at all.
Yeah, so that was pretty much all I wanted to go over was just some cool technologies. So we've got the Sea Prism Stone, we've got the piece of paper that will unite Luffy and Ace, we've got the log pose that can guide us to the next island, and we've got the inanimate object infused devil fruits.
Some good tech. I'll be keeping my eye on that as I read.
Keep that in mind. Keep it up here. A lot of technology in the One Piece world that gets a lot of uses.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, it's really funny, and I think it's one of those things of all right, well, you make it a point that imagination's a thing, and then and then they have the guns eating fruit. It's if when you explain it, it's you're like, why does this make sense? And then it's in the story and everything that makes sense, it means so much.
Right. I think it'll all start to make sense in a bit. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, what's this percentage now? What's your latest chapter you're on?
It's sitting on my bedside table. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
Past 234, so pretty far.
Like, yeah, barely. I didn't read.
So what would that be? 20%? Is he a quarter way in?
I think so. It's
Yeah,
pretty close.
quarter way in.
A
I mean,
little
yeah,
bit
I mean,
short of that, but pretty close.
Yeah, you're around there. You're around a quarter of the way to a moving target, and and it's like it's what was it? They said Oda like 5 years ago said I only have 5 more years of me or something.
Oda said that One Piece would wrap up in 5 years in 1998, in 2000, in 2002, in 2004, in 2009, in 2013, in 2018, in 2020, and I think this year he said it's 5 years out.
Yeah, so it's like it's just a journey, and it's just one of those things. It's like it's so funny. Hopefully, it's such a long journey, but it's worth it. It's one of those things. It's literally that's almost like it's almost making it part of the story itself. Of like how long of a journey Luffy has, and then it's a long journey reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm on 236. I'm almost on volume 26. So
We've got some good stuff coming down the pipeline. Things
it's
are
down.
a
We're still
little
not in
low,
the
but
sky. We're still not in the sky yet, but we're almost there. I got off of reading. I got to get back in.
the highs in Skypiea are some of the highest highs.
Oh, they're the best. I love it. One of my favorite arcs is Skypiea.
Yeah.
I love the peaks, man.
And you've met Cricket, right? Mont Blanc Cricket?
Possibly.
Have you met the monkey brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
okay.
kind of the guy with like the chestnut on his head that's more human-like, but fucking built.
Right. Okay.
If you have him, you're gonna meet him. He's a great character.
Yeah.
He's like in some way related to the guy that got that was believing that there was a island in the sky.
Did you get
the name? I don't remember the name.
Nolan the Liar?
Nolan the Liar, that's right.
You did get the name it's man, so this character Nolan the Liar, does that remind you of anything?
Just sounds like he's a liar.
No, doesn't remind you of anything? No? Okay. I won't prod too much.
Nolan Ryan?
I'm just thinking on
crazy
crew.
One of the best balls ever.
Is there anything that it reminds you of?
Usopp, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It could be a big Usopp moment, or it could be nothing, but
I'm gonna guess it's a big Usopp moment.
All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of it. Dude, a hell of a podcast here.
Episode 3.
The boys were buzzing.
The boys are the buzzing. Just saying, hey, taxes. That's the last thing I have to say.
Taxes. We'll end it on that. Taxes.
Yeah, stay excited for episode 4. Might be a in-person episode, and we will have some.
Tyro might have a gun.
Get some NBA draft coverage, some important One Piece characters, and are we doing the Gym Gen 3 rework?
Might have to.
I think that's the move. I mean, they were criminally we had I think 3 or 4 Gen 3 guys on our squads. So underrated. Hey, we got to talk about so Gen 3, very very good game. And we'll talk about it more.
People forget about Salamence, dude.
People forget about Salamence. Signing off.
People forget about Cat Turn. All right, signing off. Bye.